Welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast, the ultimate home for wrestling enthusiasts, beer drinkers, movie quoters, and pop culture connoisseurs. Here are your hosts, Matt and Ryan.
Hey, hello, and welcome to the Average Nobody's Podcast. I was never given a name.
I was given a name, but because of pending charges, I cannot say it.
You guys know what it is. It's the Average Nobody's Podcast. We're coming to you live from the podcast basement. It's the official name now.
Is it?
The
Nice.
podcast basement, yeah. I had to call up the town, and they said, why are you calling me and telling me this? And I'm like, well, listen, you have to know.
Yeah, it's a pocket. You got to get a permit.
So, yeah, exactly. They're like, there's no such thing as this permit, but fine.
You're literally just sitting in your basement.
They sent me a piece of paper with crayon written on it.
Oh, that'll work.
So, I get something.
It's a little thing sometimes.
Yeah. So, you know where we are. We're at Average Nobody's on Twitter. Search us, The Average Nobodies, on Facebook, youtube.com/The Average Nobodies, and of course, the Stone and Chisel blog, AverageNobodies.com.
The first and seems like it's going to be last of its kind.
That's it. It's over. There's a lot of things that come back, like vinyls, cassettes, things like that. Stone and Chisel, I don't think that's the one. I think we put all of our chickens in the wrong basket.
We did.
Is that the saying?
That is.
Okay.
And now I don't know where the chickens are, so we're in trouble.
Or maybe it's eggs in a basket? I don't know.
I think it's live chickens.
Make sure you find us on iTunes. If you're listening to this some other way, find us on iTunes, leave us a 5-star review, and leave us a little review, or a 1-star review, and tell us you hate us.
Yeah.
Either way,
But,
I like your direction.
But explain why you hate us.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like specific ways I can improve my life.
250 words or more.
Yes.
At least 250.
An essay,
Yes.
as they say.
All right, so let's get into people watching. It's just a quick one this week because we got a hell of an episode up. We're going to talk about Money in the Bank, the WWE pay-per-view.
Yep.
And then we have 3 shows to wrap up, which is just, I don't know if TV Club's ever going to be this crazy as it's going to be this week, because we have 3 shows to wrap up, and they just happen at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's going to be wild. So we have Better Call Saul, American Gods, and Orange is the New Black, season 5. Wow, 5 seasons of that show.
I know.
So anyway, my people watching is actually a reverse. It's actually someone watching me do something weird.
Oh, okay.
So, Wednesday, which was yesterday, I went out kayaking with Save the Bay to do some video footage at a salt marsh down in Charleston.
Okay.
And we get out on the salt marsh, and I ended up having to get wet. I had to wear water shoes or whatever, but I had sneakers and socks in my car for after. So on the way home, I stopped at Panera Bread to get lunch before I went back to the office. And I'm parked in the parking lot, and I sit in my back seat, and I open the door and sit with my feet out on the ground, and I happen to have a towel, so I'm like, oh great, I'll dry my feet off and I'll put my socks on, and I'm taking my shoes off in the parking lot, I'm drying my feet, and there's this guy just across the way just staring at me, and then I realized how weird it actually looks for me to just be drying my feet in the middle of a parking lot. So
It is a little odd.
So too bad this gentleman didn't call in. I ran up to him to talk to him, but he ran away.
You think that made him feel more or less comfortable about what was happening?
More comfortable.
More
actually,
comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well,
Had to
now
explain
this
to
guy
him.
has a personality. I know who he is.
So anyway, my feet were dry, and I put socks and sneakers on, and I did not learn my lesson, and I got a lobster roll at Panera Bread.
How was it?
It actually it didn't make me sick, but it was all right. It
See,
wasn't great.
That shouldn't be the bar.
See, that's what happens
When
when
you're paying for food, it shouldn't be the bar.
Did I ever tell you the story about I went to the Red Sox game, and we had a luxury box, which was from somebody, a friend of mine's work. They had a luxury box, and we went. We were gonna get food, all we could eat food, beer, everything. And beforehand, on the way up there, I was hungry, so I got a lobster roll from D'Angelo's, and I got violently sick, and so I didn't get to enjoy any of it.
Have you ever had Papagino's lobster roll?
Is that a thing?
They constantly advertise.
Is that? I've never seen that.
The one on 44? That's the only thing they advertise on the big sign.
I honestly wish you haven't told me that.
I can't
now,
imagine.
because now it's just going to be in the back of my head, and I'm going to be like, you know what? Papagino's has
I can't
lobster
imagine it's good. It can't be good. It's
Hey,
a pizza place.
the-
Why do you have lobster rolls?
The Panera one was good, but I think now that I'm thinking about it, thinking back on it, the reason why it was good was the roll. Because Panera Bread's a bread place. The
Yeah.
roll was very good.
Panera Bread.
And I think the lobster, it might not have been lobster meat. It might have just been
Horse meat.
yeah, could have been anything with a little bit of mayonnaise on it.
Porcupine meat. You never know. That's why, I don't know if I would trust definitely not from D'Angelo's.
But anyway, I have to rethink my food my
choices.
food choices.
Yeah, you get pretty bold with the food choices.
Because when I'm saying it didn't make me sick, you're right. That's probably not a good way to be.
It's not like I didn't get violently ill. It wasn't good, but I'm not out of commission for a couple of days.
It's not a good bar to set.
It's not.
Speaking of bars and rungs, let's talk about Money in the Bank. You like that?
That was a nice transition. Hey, have a day.
Transition master. Money in the Bank happened last Sunday. What's your let's talk high level here. What was your first reaction for Money in the Bank? Like overall, as a pay-per-view.
Overall, I was a little disappointed. I tried, and I usually do stay as positive as possible with these pay-per-views, and it's tough now because especially with the brand split, you're literally having a pay-per-view every couple weeks. I mean, 2 weeks ago
it's getting kind of
Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
2 weeks before that was Backlash. So with the brand split, it's more frequent now, but they still need to treat it as a pay-per-view, I think, because in the main event, the opener with the women's Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
What happened? They clearly did that to like extend the storyline, which they did on Tuesday's SmackDown.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I mean, I usually on pay-per-views you want to have some sort of finality to it. And what bothered me the most about the pay-per-view itself was the opening match.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Look, heels in wrestling, good versus evil, like that's what gets you invested in it.
Yeah.
So having Carmella as the heel, one of the heels in that match, win because of James Ellsworth isn't an issue for me. But when you're promoting it so heavily as this first ever women's Money in the Bank match, and I mean, they're still going about the women's revolution, all that stuff, which is fine. I mean, I think there's no need for it now. You don't need to beat us over the head with it. Yes, I mean, the women, what they do, whether it's on the mic or in the ring, speaks for themselves.
Yeah.
We don't need to constantly hear that how good they are.
Yeah.
From the announcers.
Yeah.
Not from themselves. I mean, boast yourself up all you want, but
you're
hyping this matchup as the first ever thing of its kind, and then you have, and I am the last person in the world to try to make an issue out of like a mansplaining thing, because I think it's overdone. I think people just try to pick their spots and use that as an excuse. Yeah. But to have a guy take the briefcase in the first ever one, it just didn't. It didn't need to happen.
It didn't feel right. If it was reversed, if it was the male Money in the Bank match and a woman took it off, it's still a good spot. It's still a good finish.
That's a manager cheating for their client or their whatever.
So overall, like just generally the move of that happening makes sense. Just happening during this with like the way you're right with the women's revolution and everything happening, it just kind of sucks. Especially with Carmella being like, she's pretty good on her own. I feel like that.
Didn't need it.
I feel like she didn't need it. She's very good on the mic. She can hold her own. It's not like she needs a crutch. Like she's not like she needs this guy, Ellsworth to be. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's inconsistent storytelling because you're hyping this match up as this first ever, and the woman can do anything the men can do, and then but then you have the man get the brief. I mean, and of all men, the most useless person in the world. Yeah, I mean, James Ellsworth is a good character, but Jesus Christ, I mean, he's awful. So why not do something like have Ellsworth tip the ladder over? Yeah. And then go to climb it, and then have Charlotte give him like the natural selection off the ladder.
That would be amazing.
And then that knocks everyone out. Carmella goes up, grabs the ladder. Ellsworth helped her. Yeah. He doesn't need to actually grab the briefcase.
No, that was unnecessary.
And it's just like it blows my mind that these people are in charge of the most prominent sports entertainment company in the world, and they make that decision. Yeah. Because now, and they announced on SmackDown they're gonna have another money. They stripped Carmella the briefcase, which I thought was stupid because. Technically, it's no DQ. Nothing's stopping. She didn't do anything wrong. Yeah.
And they didn't banish him from ringside.
They did.
They did
in
the pay-per-view?
No. They did for the new one.
For the next one, yeah. But but what I'm saying is...
It's no DQ. Like, why wouldn't he just go in... I mean, theoretically, why wouldn't he just go in and knock everybody out? Or pick his spots like he did and do it? So it's stupid that they stripped her because she didn't do anything wrong.
Why can't she just get it on the pay-per-view? Why couldn't she have just climbed the ladder and got on the pay-per-view? Why is this?
Because they wanted to extend it.
I was saying, draw it out. That's the only reason.
Which I don't like that. I don't like that strategy for pay-per-views. Pay-per-views are supposed to be this happens and then this is next. Not. Yeah. It basically, like, that could have been an episode of SmackDown.
It's supposed to be. There's supposed to be chapter marks.
Yeah.
In a bigger storyline. You're supposed to end that in something new because you look forward to what the fallout is to like things happening on Raw. You don't want to see the same thing happen again. You don't want to see another match issued for the same thing when it could have been settled at the pay-per-view.
And I know that they have the network now, so you're not necessarily paying extra for the pay-per-views. But, some people are buying it on pay-per-view, but you're tuning in. This is a special event. Like, why wouldn't you want to make it a special attraction? Yeah. And, look, you can have Carmella win in a shorthanded way and figure out that, look, it's your own universe. They're writing it. They can write whatever they want. Yeah. They make the rules. I just don't understand why you do it that way. And it felt like it was the middle of the match.
Yeah.
Like Charlotte did a moonsault off the top rope to the outside. Well, she does that on like a random episode. There was. Yeah. I feel like maybe if that happened 15, 20 minutes later into the match, or 10, 15 minutes later into the match, I would have been more okay with it.
Yeah.
But and for me, later in the night when she came out during Naomi and Lana, I'm like, there's no way she's gonna cash in because it was clearly done to hype the ratings for SmackDown. So it's like, tune into SmackDown. And Daniel Bryan was coming back. So they did it to, like, tune into SmackDown. What will Daniel Bryan say about James Ellsworth grabbing the briefcase? And it's like, so now she's definitely not going to cash in at the end of the night because she needs the briefcase. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. I like the idea of the heel using that to her advantage. And the only thing now with Carmella, when you're stripping her of the briefcase, it's like, you're creating your own rules, but then you're kind of going back on them because she didn't do anything wrong. Her manager of LA, whatever the hell Ellsworth is to her, helped her win the match, but it's no DQ.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to go on too long of a tangent on it, but and you have that open the show. Your show opener is supposed to set the tone for the whole night. It just set a bad tone. And then following that was the Usos versus New Day.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
It was supposed to be the end of
disappointing.
It's supposed to be the end to the story. Yeah. They have this solid 10, 12-minute match, and then the Usos just decide to walk away, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which I understand. Okay, those are their two main tag teams on SmackDown, so you want to extend this feud. But why is that the pay-per-view finish? Don't have them fight each other on the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Do you think they work with this angle now with the Usos being not a, I guess they still are kind of a fan favorite, but as not a face.
Yeah, I mean they've been for a little bit. They've been kind of they're they're.
Who do you like better, these Usos or the Usos
these
that
Usos.
debuted? Yeah, these Usos.
Yeah,
better. Yeah.
They fight differently. They're more aggressive.
Yeah,
they're more direct in their promos. It's not like honestly the worst promo in the history of the world is the WWE good guy. Because you can tell it's being written by a 70-year-old white guy. You can tell Vince McMahon's having Roman Reigns of all people, the most intimidating person on the roster, come out and tell a corny joke. It's no. He should be drop the mic and then I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Instead he's like, oh, sucker and succotash. I'm Roman. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
That's not. And but the heels are able to kind of be. It's more realistic. It's a relatable. It's a human being. You're not a cartoon character.
Yeah.
I think Vince kind of gets caught in that late 80s, early 90s cartoon character thing that he had, like a Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Say your vitamins, or say your prayers, eat your vitamins, and
you can't force that on a guy. They just have to have it.
Right.
They have to have
Some people it works for.
Yeah.
But with the Usos, you can clearly tell they're so much more comfortable being who they are. Just cocky, got that little bit of swagger. They fight differently, and they had a really good match with New Day.
Yeah.
I liked the match. It's just
yeah.
And the ending can ruin it. It really can. And it just it felt like the next step in a story. When why would pay-per-views be just the next step? That should be the end of the chapter, and then the next SmackDown you move on.
Yeah.
And I understand you maybe don't want the Usos to lose the titles yet, but you also don't want New Day to lose clean.
Do you think they're stretching everything out to SummerSlam?
I think so. Which honestly, it does happen almost every year over the summer.
This time, yeah.
The May, June, July pay-per-views for the most part
are just lead-ups for.
Yeah. I mean, SummerSlam's their big. That's their summer WrestleMania.
Yeah. It's too bad too that Money in the Bank got put here. We were talking about a little bit before the show. Money in the Bank legitimately now is a top 4 pay-per-view. I mean, Survivor Series is considered the fourth of the main. The 4. You got.
I like Money in the Bank better.
Money in the Bank is so much better. It's so much better. But it sucks that now it's only a SmackDown pay-per-view. Right now it is.
Yep.
It wasn't a whole WWE wide pay-per-view, which is I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna save that for the Rumble, WrestleMania.
What did you think of Lana besides her in-ring attire?
I thought she did a good job.
I thought she did a great job. I loved her in-ring attire. I thought she playing up what Lana does.
I'm
good
not going to complain about watching Lana do anything.
Not going to complain.
She can beat up my grandma.
The one thing I'm going to say, and I'm not going to criticize her because it must be so hard. All of her spots, you could hear her call them out.
Yeah.
Like, very loudly.
Very loudly, yeah.
Very loud. But, again, I can't blame her because this is her first time in the ring. She's probably nervous as hell.
On a pay-per-view, Money in the Bank, sold-out crowd.
Yeah, and you're facing someone who makes it look so easy.
Yeah. She's unreal.
She's one of the best divas, one of the best women's in the women's division.
Yeah.
She's one of the best. Naomi. She's awesome. So I thought I never thought she would debut as a wrestler.
No.
But I liked it. I don't know.
I liked it. The only thing that, again, it's like the finish when like you have Carmella come down.
To tease,
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
if you have any brain in your head, you're watching that and being like, "There's no way."
No.
Like Carmella won the way she did to make sure you tuned into SmackDown to see what Daniel Bryan was going to say. So it took the heat away from her coming down and possibly cashing in.
Yeah.
And also, like, why? Also,
the moment you find out that Money in the Bank match is the first match of the night, you know there's going to be a tease later on. You've already, whoever wins, it doesn't matter. You know there's going to be a tease later on.
Right. But I thought she did a good job. Yeah. I'm excited for Lana going forward because she's money on the mic. She's awesome. I mean, she's been speaking for Rusev forever, and she's just, like, good. She knows how to kind of manipulate the crowd. Kind of similar to Alexa Bliss, what she does on Raw. Mm-hmm. Alexa Bliss is just unreal with the way she handles the crowd with the what chants.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's so really good. And Lana's like that, too. So if she can just keep progressing in the ring and they play it safe in her matches, like, she doesn't have to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not asking her to go out and have a 30-minute match. Just go out, do what you know how to do, and keep getting better.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that match as much. I mean, the cash and tease kind of lost its heat for me, but it wasn't too bad. And then after that, you had the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal, and his lackeys. Schwartz is a big fan of Jinder Mahal.
What are the names of his two?
The Singh brothers.
The Singh brothers.
But it's Singh.
Yeah.
They're too similar. Orton and Mahal in the ring.
Sure.
They're all punches and kicks and headlocks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're expecting a 15-minute, like, really fun match out of those two, you're barking up the wrong tree.
I would have never, ever thought that Jinder Mahal would be champion right now.
He's a good character. I mean, I'm not justifying him as champion, but I'd rather have him as champion than Randy Orton again.
Here's my question. This might sound a little weird. Not weird. Is Vince McMahon playing up racism a little too much?
Of course.
With the heel angle?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
He's just expecting people to hate him because he wears a
hijab.
He
is.
Right? I mean,
and it's unfortunately, in today's day and age, a hijab, yeah.
Yeah, is that what it is? Yeah.
Unfortunately, in today's day and age, he's not wrong. People definitely hate him based on he can speak multiple languages and he's not bright white.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And even Randy Orton's like, oh, I'm going to give you what do you say? Like a real American ass kicking.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not here. You're not from here. Well, all right, take it easy.
Also, it's like, too, like, to pick Randy Orton to feud, maybe he'll have a different feud, but, like, if you're really playing that card, you really got to put someone real American against him, right? I mean,
a man who wears a certain jean shorts, maybe.
Maybe.
But is Jinder Mahal going to beat John Cena?
I don't know. I mean, that would surprise me.
Answer me this: is Jinder Mahal going to beat John Cena, who's being advertised to return back to SmackDown on Tuesday, July 4th?
Absolutely not. There's not.
Are you telling me there's not a chance in the world that John Cena comes back on 4th of July wearing a friggin' American flag onesie and says, "I challenge Jinder Mahal for the title"? He's gonna just slap Jinder Mahal in the face and that's it.
John Cena might come back with. He might start wearing the male romper, just an American flag male romper. That might be it, and they will sell 2 million of them at that show alone.
They will. But I read this guy who writes for Uprocks, who he reviews SmackDown and Raw. He's been my favorite for years. But after every SmackDown one he reviews, he's like, seriously, Jinder, just take a vacation day. July 4th, take a vacation day. Cena's going to be there. There's no need for you to be there. There's no need for you to confront him. But, I mean, it's set up a little too perfectly that Cena's coming back. I mean, I don't know if he's going to challenge him then, but it's not going to be... You're not going to have the Foreigner go over John Cena on the 4th of July.
No.
I mean, as far as the match, it wasn't bad, but again, they're just too similar in styles. I thought the best part of the match was when Mahal got taken out and the Singh brothers and Randy Orton fought, and then they grabbed Randy Orton's dad at ringside, which was hysterical. They grabbed him by like these little guys. I mean, they're tiny guys.
Yeah,
I know Bob Orton's in his 70s, but these guys are small. But they grab him by the collar, and his eyes bugged out of his head. There's a gif of it, and it like pops in, and it's like starring Ed O'Neill. Like he looked like Jay Pritchett.
Yeah.
And Ric Flair's standing there like not doing anything, but like probably saying some really derogatory things.
Oh
to them.
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, the match itself wasn't bad, but I don't like the finish of Orton. Orton was literally on the outside of the ring for like 5 to 7 minutes, beating up the Singh brothers. Then he goes in, and Jinder Mahal just kicks him in the stomach and hits his finisher. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing that happened at Backlash. And Mahal won a match against somebody on SmackDown in the same, like the Singh brothers interfered, and he just kicks him and hits his finisher.
Yeah.
It ends a little too quick for me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like in a way, it was the night of okay matches, but not good finishes. Now, how often do you watch SmackDown?
I honestly, I probably watched maybe like 5 since they've done the brand split, like full ones.
So do you not know much about the Fashion Police?
No, no. I do know. I watch those videos all the time. Oh my god, what are they called? What are the little? It's
Fashion Files.
Yes, for the Fashion Files. And the Miami Vice was so good. It's amazing.
They're probably my favorite part of SmackDown. They're so funny.
Breezango.
It's Fandango and Tyler Breeze, and they're hysterical.
Yeah.
And they're clearly very good in the ring, and unfortunately they fought the Ascension. Yeah. Talk about a letdown.
Man.
Connor and Victor.
The Ascension. Oh my god.
I can't. They're the longest reigning tag champs in NXT history.
I don't understand. Who roots for these guys?
And I never really saw that. Even in NXT, like, they were okay. But I'm like, these guys, you can't go up to the main roster with, like, half your face painted and start yelling and screaming when you look like they look.
It's such a bad gimmick.
Yeah.
It's such a bad gimmick. I don't care how good they are in the ring. I just hate them. The Ascension is the terrible name.
It is.
It's a real bad name.
And it's like the reason the Road Warriors worked is because these guys were literally like 6'7", 300 pounds, steroided out of their minds.
Yeah.
Like if you walk by that guy and you don't want to cross him, and they had their hair cut so it fit in, like the Road Warriors. Like one had it.
Yeah. One out
was bald in the middle, and one was only in the middle.
Yeah.
So if they headbutt each other, it fit.
Yeah.
But like that's why it worked for them, because of how huge they were.
Yeah.
With the Ascension, it's like I see Connor, I'm like, oh,
it's a joke.
Is he all right?
Is he okay?
Yeah, I mean, the match was okay. I mean, at least the Fashion Police won. But I think that was just kind of like a cool down before what was. It was a great main event. It's too bad it was on this show, because if you put that ladder match onto any other show from this year, it would have made it one of the best pay-per-views of the year. Mm-hmm. I loved everything about it. I love Corbin taking out Nakamura before the match starts.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? Like, why?
He's just an asshole.
But I kind of wanted to see Nakamura in the match.
So what, in my opinion, why they did it is that gives they're trying to protect Nakamura as much as they can.
So they don't want him climbing ladders.
Not that, but they don't want him just losing straight up.
Okay.
So if you're a fan and you're looking at it, you're like, well, he lost because he got beat up before the match. Yeah, he returned, but he was hurt.
Yeah.
So, because he really should kind of be like a special attraction type of guy. I mean, he doesn't speak that good of English, so you can't just throw him in the ring like anybody else and just be like, all right, hey, cut a promo.
Yeah.
Even though they still try to do it sometimes. It's like, come on. Like, why? He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to speak.
No.
I mean, it's stupid. But I think they did that, one, to give Corbin a little bit of heat on him. As like, you son of a bitch, you took Nakamura away from us. And at the same time, well, Nakamura didn't win, but he was the only guy that got taken out before the match. He soldiered through. He came back.
Yeah.
And
so he still looks good.
When he came back and just started kneeing everybody in the face, that was amazing.
Yes.
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
The stare down with him and Styles when they're looking at each other through the ladder.
Yeah,
was really cool.
That was awesome.
And they did it well because obviously WWE's production is amazing. But they had the camera kind of just focus on Nakamura, and then at the perfect moment they zoomed out. And Styles just came into the picture.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at them, looking at each other through the ladder.
It's almost like you wonder, like, they obviously plan these spots. They're going to be, like, TV spots.
Yeah.
But you almost wonder, like, how much of it is just by chance. I mean, they are very prepared, WWE. They're not just throwing cameras on people's shoulders and going out there.
Nah.
Like, they're very prepared. But that was one of those things, like, that was just serendipitous that he happened to just step in right at the right moment when they were zooming out. Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. Because they can't know what the cameramen are doing.
No.
They can't.
No,
the
they're not talking
cameramen
to each
have
other
to
that way.
anticipate the shot.
Yeah.
But to a certain point, you can only do that to a certain point.
Yeah.
So.
And that was so cool. And they moved the ladder
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
just go at each other,
Yeah.
which that's their money match down the line. I don't know if it'll be at next year's WrestleMania, but Styles Nakamura is your match.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter the
love
alignment.
Styles.
You just let them do their thing. I do too. He's so
love
good.
Styles. I'm so glad that one of the best additions that WWE is one of the best roster additions WWE's had.
Yeah.
In the last probably like 2-3 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
And one of the best. One of the best.
And he was just money right away.
I mean, he's ready. I mean,
Yeah.
he's ready. He's wrestled everywhere. He's wrestled everywhere. He's been champion everywhere.
Yep.
Except for WWE. It was always back in the day when I actually used to watch TNA. Like, he was always like the guy who was like, oh, imagine if AJ Styles came to WWE.
Fought Shawn Michaels.
They,
or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Fought who and such and such.
and it's always been a long time coming, so it's awesome.
Yeah.
To him to really like, he's in it now.
He is, and I thought it was a really good match. It was a great main event. I think the right guy won.
You like Corbin?
I love Corbin.
Yeah.
And
When do you think he'll hold on to it?
Yes,
Yeah.
for a while. Yep. I think the briefcase itself is more effective when you have a guy who doesn't necessarily have the best intentions lurking around with it.
Sure.
Like, say John Cena wins. John Cena's not going to cash in on somebody. He's going to announce it and be regal and But Baron Corbin doesn't give a shit. Baron Corbin attacked Nakamura before the match. You know what I mean? If somebody fights a 60-minute draw at the next pay-per-view, and whoever the champion is wins, he's going to be waiting in the wings to go and cash it in. I like having that.
Yeah.
And you know what? You're going to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Every pay-per-view, if you watch SmackDown, every time the champion's in the ring, you're going to be like, hey, I wonder if Corbin's coming out.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of, I hope it's going to be like when Ziggler had it.
Yes.
And he had it for up until the day after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And he cashed in on Del Rio.
Yep.
And people were like, oh, he's going to cash in now. He's going to cash in now. He's going to cash in now. And they picked the perfect moment for him to cash in.
Yeah.
And that crowd went nuts. And I mean, I like Corbin a lot. I really do. I think I always like when the heel has that ace up its sleeve. I wouldn't have minded if Sami Zayn won, but Zayn's character is just that one that needs to keep getting beat down.
Yeah. Until he breaks.
Yeah. And I mean, he's someone who, when he has his redemption story, if they do it correctly, they're going to have enough ammo of the beatdown that it's going to work for him.
Yeah.
So
99% of it will be at the hands of Kevin Owens.
Yes. And then he'll have his, like in NXT. Like, he had like a 12-month redemption story. Finally won the title, and then literally 30 seconds later, Kevin Owens threw him against a ring apron on a powerbomb. And that's how guys like that should be. You shouldn't be, that's how life is. You're happy for a second, and then Kevin Owens comes and powerbombs you.
I was listening to From the Top Rope, the Barstool Wrestling podcast, and they had Kevin Owens on today or yesterday it came out. And Kevin Owens is so funny when he talks about Sami Zayn. He's like still in character. He's still in wrestling character. They were talking about ladder matches. He's like, yeah, well, my first ladder match was against Sami Zayn. Can you believe that? And I kicked his ass. Like, just like talking about Sami. I'm like, you're not.
I don't think they'll ever break character when it comes to themselves.
No, never. I thought that was awesome. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, overall it was okay. It wasn't bad, but again, like, you want to be coming out of a pay-per-view like it was a special attraction.
Yeah.
And I understand it's happening more frequently now. Like, Great Balls of Fire is only a couple weeks away.
I still can't get used to the name.
There's a video I saw online of Heyman and Paul Heyman and Samoa Joe, and they were doing their promo a couple weeks ago, and Paul Heyman's like, and Samoa Joe at the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view, and the camera cuts to Joe, and he's like, and like, there's supposed to be a serious moment, but like, how many times can you hear that without just laughing?
It never. Every time a superstar says it in the ring, it doesn't get any easier to say.
But even that's coming in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And then after that, they'll have I don't know what the SmackDown will have another one at the end of July.
Before SummerSlam.
Before SummerSlam. Then you'll have about a month until SummerSlam.
Yeah. SummerSlam should be awesome.
SummerSlam should be awesome.
This is the first SummerSlam with the brand split, right?
No, last year.
Last year was the first one?
They did it last July.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that went by so fast.
I know.
Damn. All right.
Well, just another wrestling note. I'm going to be adding more wrestling, hopefully reviews to the blog. I'm finishing up with Top Rope Press next Wednesday.
Excellent.
So I'm done. If you're listening, Ryan.
The blog loves your
Yeah, it was a good time, but I want to add more wrestling content to our blog. You can't do both.
It's what you do. You do.
So ideally I'll be adding Raw and NXT reviews every week. Probably on the next day, so like early Tuesday afternoons, early Thursday afternoons after Raw and NXT. Just getting some stuff up there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. That's exciting.
Yeah.
AverageNobodies.com is where you'll find that. And follow us on Twitter. I mean, all of our blogs get automatically pushed to Twitter, so you'll never miss one.
Yes.
At AverageNobodies. So, all right. Well, let's get into TV Club because
I'm excited.
I'm very, very excited. So, like we said at the top of the show, we have three. I gotta bring mine up. We have three series, 3 shows to wrap up seasons. Better Call Saul, American Gods, Orange is the New Black. You want to start with Saul?
Yeah.
Okay, so the episode Lantern was the finale of season 3.
Yes.
Overall, I don't know where we want to start with this.
It's heartbreaking.
It's super heartbreaking, very in more ways than one. You have Jimmy's storyline with the elderly women.
Which he did the right thing.
He did do the right thing, but it was still real shitty. Like, I'm glad that they're all friends now still. It was real shitty. What he did in the first place. Like, it killed me.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole thing with Chuck we'll get into. And then Hector, Salamanca now. I think we have the breaking point of how Hector now is in a wheelchair and he doesn't really speak anymore.
Rings a bell.
So now what happens to Nacho now?
I think he has to at least temporarily join Gus.
Right? Now,
because Gus gave him that look.
So yeah, refresh my memory. Is Nacho in Breaking Bad?
I don't know. I was actually going to ask you the same thing.
I get there's a weird fog of like.
I don't know if he. I'm trying to think. I don't think so because.
But does he look so familiar?
You know why? Because he looks like the twins that Gus has, the silent ones.
Oh yeah,
the crazy people.
Maybe, but I don't know. There's something else about him. I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad for his dad has got some balls on him. Nacho's dad.
Yeah.
Like telling Hector to get out. He like puts money on the counter and he tells him to leave. I bet you, like, and he's the type of guy. I bet that money was thrown out. Like, I bet he burned that money.
There's no way
he's not taking that money. No way. No way.
Yeah, I don't think he's in Breaking Bad.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy. That's pretty crazy to me.
But yeah, I mean, but Gus definitely saw something in him. You know, like when he was looking at him and when he got the pills, the pill bottle, like he was able to put the actual pills in there because Hector spilled them all over the ground.
Yeah.
So now, if they look at it, they're going to see that it's not fake pills. So he covered his ass, and it was really the perfect scenario, and he was there to kill him.
Yeah.
But I read a review. I read the same guy. His name's Alan Sepinwall. Mm-hmm. He writes for Uprocks. I don't know if you ever read his TV reviews.
I read him a couple times on your recommendation.
He said that in the scene when Hector visits Nacho's dad, there's a bell. Like a help please bell.
Oh, yeah.
So they're so good at just throwing those little things. And I didn't notice it at first. I'll have to go back and watch it.
That makes total sense.
But, like, hey, help. Yeah. And that's going to be Hector's life.
Yep.
And it was interesting that Gus tried to save him. Because I know he said to Mike a couple episodes back that, like, a bullet to the head isn't, like, he wants him to suffer.
Yeah.
But I wonder what was going through Gus's mind at that point. Like, I don't know if he was trying to save him or if he was trying to not have issues with Don Eladio.
Yeah, I
because it didn't seem like he was. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Gus always puts up the facade of him being like a decent human being. Like he's just trying to do what's best. And I'm sure the two guys like having Gus watch. He doesn't want to break that persona that he has. Yeah. He wants to keep that persona that he's this like.
He doesn't want to break bad.
He's
publicly.
not. Yeah. He does illegal things, but he's not a bad guy. Like he does. He
still has a moral code.
Yeah, it's a moral code, but it's a little more than that. I'm having trouble finding the words, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't want to show that he's like vicious like that.
He's not Hector Salamanca.
No, he's not. Because Hector would have watched Gus die.
Yeah. And probably pissed on him.
Yeah, exactly. And wouldn't have done anything to help him.
Right.
So, big time Gus move. Tell him out. What can Kim. So, Kim's all fucked up to start this episode from the car crash in the last one. All fucked up. But she kind of finds a moment where she like lets go of that case. She lets go of the case that's the reason why she got in the car accident.
Yep.
Even though she could have they had a rescheduled meeting, right?
No, is she doing that to help Jimmy?
What do you mean? Like she's doing it to like not taking the meeting to help Jimmy?
Yeah, to like spend time with him, or
I don't know. I don't know. It felt like how she like snapped and she went to Blockbuster, which is hilarious. They went to Blockbuster and she started picking up movies.
Yeah, we found out what year they were in.
Oh, what?
2003.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because when Jimmy walks into the living room, he's like, party like it's 2003.
Oh, is that? Oh, wow. Okay.
So we kind of have a little bit of a time frame.
I missed that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which. I think maybe now she's doing it for herself. Because I think now with the Chuck incident, which we'll get to in a second.
Yep.
I think that she's gonna be brought back to like what you said before. She's gonna be very upset, and she's gonna blame herself for what happened to Chuck.
Yeah. And I think
So she needs this we need this moment of like, oh, Kim's doing great, and then Kim's doing great, and then she's back down.
Dug herself out of whatever ditch she was in, because obviously mentally she was just worn out. I mean, you don't cross 3 lanes of traffic and drive into a pole without knowing it
and not realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the article I read that reviewed it made a good point, and it was kind of almost not startling, but it was surprising to see, because I know her and Jimmy are together, like they live together, they work together. But they're like the least romantic couple in maybe television history.
I think when they kissed, was that the first time they kissed?
Yeah. It was almost, I was like, oh.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Because they are, you don't know if they are romantically together or they're not.
That's true, yeah.
Until this season, really. And like when they start, like they're in the same bed together.
Yeah.
And, like one's watching TV, one's reading, or whatever they were doing.
But there's no
PDA.
No.
Never.
Which is kind of, it's like a refreshing take on. Because I feel like
it's a crutch.
Some showrunners they're like, look, you have to know that this is a man and this is a woman. It's like, no, they're their own separate entities.
Yeah.
And they are more than whatever they are together.
And they never, in Breaking Bad there was, because you have like Walter and Skyler, that whole like relationship. But in Breaking Bad, in Better Call Saul, they don't have to dive into anything that comes along with them being in a relationship. That whole storyline is totally out of it. They are just like, I'm not going to say just friends, but they're like, they trust each other. And that's where a lot of the story, like the tension in the story comes from. Not the fact that they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
No.
It's just the fact that they're very close and they do a lot of things for each other and with each other.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of they build the tension off of that, not the fact that they're having sex.
Yeah.
That's
which I like, because it's more relatable
it's nice.
In a way. Yeah, it's like a friendship type of thing.
Exactly. It's nice, and you're better able to put yourself in either one of their shoes that way.
Yeah.
Rather than it being an actual like boyfriend girlfriend relationship.
I agree.
So, but I liked her just going wild at Blockbuster. I thought that was a great scene.
To Kill a Mockingbird. Excellent taste.
Yeah. Atticus Finch. And then Chuck. He's dead, right?
Yeah, he's dead. He's definitely dead. I mean, this was his episode.
There's
no Mike at all.
Yeah. No Mike at all. You're right. No Mike.
And I was expecting more of like a finality to Kim's story.
Okay.
Not Chuck's.
Yeah.
But Chuck's got.
I think Kim is going to be the last piece of the puzzle, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Now there's only Kim that stands in the way from Jimmy becoming Saul.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's left, and now it.
And how is Chuck's death going to affect her?
Yeah.
Especially so fresh off of their trial, what they did to him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know what's going to be left of the house, but are they going to see that he tore it apart, that he knocked his power out?
The thing with that was I had a feeling that we were going down a dark path this episode, because how many times can you go to this guy's house and realize he's ripping apart the electrical? Like, you can only do it so many times, and I'm like, there's no coming back from this. Whatever happens, this is going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
I think they probably will realize that he was ripping apart the house, and then, I mean, he was really ripping apart the house.
Yeah.
He was like smashing into the walls and like trying to get the electric meter to shut off.
Because he was in like a shell of his house at the end when he was kicking the lantern.
Yeah.
And then the speech to Jimmy is like just an all. I mean, he's gonna. Well, because earlier in the episode, he said like, "Why do you keep trying to change who you are? Like you need to embrace it. That you ruin things.
Yeah.
This is what you do." And then he almost encouraged him to be who I think his brother always wanted him to be, the mess up.
Because then he can look good.
Because then he can look good. So then when Jimmy was actually becoming like a solid attorney and was working for Hamlin and McGill, it's not my messed up brother anymore. Yeah. It's like a solid member of society. But now Chuck's I think he always wanted him to be that way, and that final speech to him where he said, like, you never really mattered to me.
Yeah, it just proves
he knew.
It proves it.
He's too smart of a guy to not know that
kills.
Rip Jimmy apart.
Yeah.
And then for Jimmy not to ever see him again now?
Yeah. It's going to be tough. It's going to be, and now you start to see a bigger picture of what Saul is.
Yeah, why Saul is who he is.
Absolutely. It's like, why? He's like, why do I need to? There's going to be a ton. It's going to be a ton about his brother, and his brother just being a total dick to him.
Yeah.
It's just an unfortunate story. Like, as someone with a brother, and you have a sibling as well. Like, I could never imagine something like that.
No. And then never being able to see the brother again after. Like, that's how you end things.
Yeah.
Like, no closure, no nothing.
So I don't think. I mean, I think he's dead right there. I think we're going to start next season. He's going to be gone. Like, that's. But it.
Like, because I was wondering that, I'm like, you have to start the next season with Kim and Jimmy's reaction to that.
Yeah.
But is there a time jump coming soon after? Because can you really?
That could be that's a good point.
Because Jimmy still can't practice law for a year.
Yeah.
So like, how are you going to do another whole season of? I mean, you need their reaction. You can't jump forward in time right away, I don't think.
Yeah, it could, maybe, but what if they did to start the season? It's a year in the future, and it's like a year memorial service.
And maybe they throw flashbacks in.
And he's already had started practicing law for like a month or so, whatever. Like after that case, it was like probably a month.
Yeah.
So he had been back practicing law for like a month.
Because I think because as Saul, he's a criminal defense attorney, right?
Yes. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Because I think they did it perfectly where he really can't do the elderly law anymore.
No. He might go back to being a public defendant for a little bit, at least. I mean, maybe he'll get back in.
But who knows how that affects him? He might just snap into Saul.
Yeah, that's very true.
He's already got the name. Saul Goodman.
Yeah. And maybe by then, maybe the case with the seniors will have actually been settled, or is that already coming?
I don't know. They took it back.
Yeah, they took it back, so I don't think it's. But maybe by then, if there's a flash forward, maybe he had gotten his money, and that's when he starts his firm,
his own thing.
Yeah.
And Kim wants nothing to do with that type of.
And
I don't know.
And we know he does rehire his secretary.
He does. Yeah.
We know that she's
really good.
Yeah,
she's
really good. Yeah. So we know that she gets rehired. So however that happens, and he is he the one that said the first thing we'll do is look you up?
Yeah, and she wasn't. She was like,
Yeah.
I don't think she thinks he's a sleaze bag, but maybe it'll work. AMC still hasn't renewed it for season 4.
What? Really?
I mean, I think it might just be like a formality.
Like
they might not just want to do one season. Like they were like, all right, we'll renew you for 3, and then we'll be done after 6.
Okay.
It has to be that type of thing because
there's no reason for the show
it's
to go
too good.
away.
Like you gotta keep this going.
I gotta talk to my dad about it because I know he watches too. I wonder if he's all caught up. See what he thinks.
Yeah. But a really great end to another awesome season, Better Call Saul. One of the best spinoffs.
Yeah, it's turning into being just as good as Breaking Bad
Yep.
was, and it just goes to show it's like you have that. It's not even a formula. It's just when you have that high level of writing, and high level of production value for a show like this, and like the attention to the details by the people who the showrunners and everything, the people who do the show.
Because the guy who directed it, Peter Gould, he was him and Vince Gilligan were the co-creators of Breaking Bad.
So, I mean, when you have that,
and they care.
Yeah,
they care. I mean, it's just you can tell just the little minor details they put into things. Yeah. It's awesome. It's great to watch.
And it's like, what a universe to have, like, to go in a deep dive in some of the characters, because all the characters bring something to the table, and they're all great.
They're all multi-dimensional. It's awesome.
Super, yeah, awesome. All right, so that's enough for Better Call Saul. Hopefully, until next year. Yeah. American Gods, come to Jesus. Okay, so we're at the goddess of spring, the god of spring.
What's her name? Tara.
Astera, right?
Because that's who Mr. Wednesday is trying to recruit for the war.
Yes, because she's one of the old gods.
Yep.
And I think it's funny that Jesus so she's been around forever. So from what I understand from this episode, I got a better picture of like why there are gods. It's because people believed in something and that created that god. That's my understanding. So.
And that's why there's so many different gods, because there's so many different beliefs.
Yeah, when people wanted winter to end and they wanted their crops to grow again, they prayed to the goddess of spring. Astera.
Yeah.
Kristen Chenoweth, who was a delight. Right? She was awesome. She's so good.
She was a delight.
Oh my God, she's so
That's
good.
so crazy. I mean, we'll have to get into it
Yeah,
at
and
some
then
point.
it's funny,
But the
like
casting.
Jesus came along and just stole her day.
What about Jesus Prime?
What?
Jesus Prime,
Which one's Jesus?
the one with the halo around his
Oh,
head.
yes.
And that's the guy. He was in Lost. He was Daniel Faraday in Lost.
Okay.
And he was Dickie Bennett in Justified. This guy, he wants to just be in every great television show. But he was a small part, but he was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that like they like, you know, it's how many Jesuses are there? Well, there's one for every person that like pictures him that way.
Yeah.
There's like a Jesus for everybody.
He could be Mexican Jesus that helps you cross the border.
Yeah.
Could be Jesus Prime with a halo over his head. I mean, it's awesome. I love it.
The part where Shadow's like sitting at the pool, and Jesus is just like sitting on the water, and he's just like so mesmerized. He's like, "So you're Jesus? Like, okay, you're Jesus." And then so we find out about Mad Sweeney being who we kind of suspected. He's the one who killed Laura Moon in the first place by Mr. Wednesday.
Wednesday's been pulling the strings the whole time.
He's been pulling the strings the whole time. So now it begs the question. So Mr. Wednesday, a.k.a. Odin, the god of war, the god of death. Amazing.
Yeah, that was really cool.
When he does his whole spiel about who he is, that was amazing. That was ridiculous. It chills up down my spine. What's the big deal with Shadow Moon? Because clearly
why is he the chosen one?
Yeah, clearly he wanted Laura Moon out of the picture, but I don't think he foresaw. Obviously, he didn't. That Mad Sweeney had a connection to Laura Moon's ancestors, right? But he wanted Laura Moon out of the picture. But what's the big deal with Shadow Moon? He seems like he's just like a normal guy.
It seems
very
random.
handsome, very strong, like he's a good fighter.
But there's a lot of those.
But there's something more to him because he specifically wanted him. He wanted to be bound to him. So I'm very excited to find out what that is in season 2.
Yeah, because right now Shadow's like all in on Mr. Wednesday.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Yeah.
But he doesn't know that he's the one who's been pulling the strings and kind of getting him at his lowest point.
Yeah.
So that way he could truly believe in him.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to truly believe in something unless you need something out of it.
Yeah.
That
was cool. That was cool when he killed the that like weird faceless person with like.
You think he killed
skin.
him?
Like
Mr. World?
Like the lightning? No, I don't think he killed Mr. World. I think, but Mr. World came in and kind of like took over one of those things' bodies, and I think he just killed the. I thought that was cool how he like.
That was cool. He kind of saw like power as more than just like playing a senile old man. Gift of the gab.
The god of war and god of death. I mean, that's what we kind of figured what he was. He had something to do with death. He's
obviously very important.
The crows and
yeah. So those crows are his too.
Yeah. So, and now there's more to. I guess Mad Sweeney. He volunteers himself to Mr. Wednesday as well. Like he's like kind of like fighting with Mr. Wednesday. You got the goddess of spring. Really, nobody else that we've met.
Bilquis is she part of?
Well, she was drafted. I'm gonna say drafted. She was drafted by Technical Boy.
That's right.
Remember,
yes.
He gave her the cell phone, which I thought was such a genius thing for the goddess of love. Gave her a cell phone and showed her Tinder. Like this, like
because that's how she kind of survives.
You don't have to find people to worship you. They'll come to you.
Yeah. Which is really a cool.
What a genius! Like look at like life right now.
Yep.
And like how that like this
to relate it
is
to the modern age.
Yeah, and then to see her like her altar, her I mean, they were showing on TV her like old. I'm not gonna say it's a building. Her shrine was being demolished.
Yeah.
And she saw that
in Iran.
Yeah, and so she was like, "Well, that sucks." And then he comes along and gives her the cell phone, and now she has all these people.
Rejuvenates her. Yeah.
And now she eats people with her vagina.
Yeah. So. Don't we all?
That's just what happens. I wasn't sure when they started shooting her backstory. I wasn't sure if that was her, the same girl that was in the beginning, the first episode with the guy from Shameless, the first man that met the the vagina eating.
What's her name's father? The guy who kills himself in the ice thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, just really a great finale, and it's cool to know that they're ready to pick up on season 2.
So they're doing 10 episodes next season.
Are they?
There was only 8 this season, which kind of sucks, but I love where it ended up.
Because they end up on House on the Rock, right? That's where the episode ends. Like they don't go in, but that's where they walk into. Is that where the episode ends?
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I thought it ended at the
because they don't.
at
It's
the mansion.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that?
That's how they don't go inside.
Yeah, no,
but
no,
yeah.
no. Yeah.
So
yes.
that is because when I was reading the review to get just like because my favorite part about the show is you can literally read everyone's interpretation of what's going on. I mean, it's amazing how many people have different opinions, so you can kind of blend those with yours, see what works. But the House on the Rock, so that mansion that they come to at the end, that's only chapter 5 in the book adaptation.
Really?
So they were saying there's just like the person who the review I usually read, he has read the book. He doesn't spoil it.
Yeah.
But he's like, there's just so much more story to tell.
Okay.
Which is cool.
I was in Newbury Comics yesterday, and at the checkout they have like sometimes they have like books that are relating to like what something that's like a TV or a movie that's going on, and they had the Neil Gaiman American. It's not called American Gods.
American Gods, no.
It's like something gods, Norse gods or whatever it is. But I was like, I almost wanted to get it. I'm like, all right, well let me watch the last episode first, and then maybe like in the time between seasons you
can read and
maybe
see what's going on.
I'll read it. But it was a hell of a season. I love all the characters. I need more of Mr. Nancy.
Yes.
How awesome! How
Why has he only been in
captivating!
2 episodes?
I don't know. How captivating is he? Both scenes that he's in are one of the best, some of the best of the season.
Yeah.
The first one, obviously, when he shows up on the slave ship and convinces the slaves to burn the ship down,
is unreal.
Was unbelievable. And then when he gets up and tells the story of, I can't even really remember the story. What was the story about? It was the queen. The queen. He was talking about the queen. It's like, what does a queen need? Oh no, what does a king need? He needs a queen. And so basically talking about how Mr. Wednesday needs.
Yes.
Astera. Astera? I'm looking this up right
now. It's like Ostara, I think.
I'm looking it up right now. Goddess of Spring.
I think it's Astera.
Yeah, it's Astera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So, yeah,
yes.
I hope if there's going to be one role that they expand in season 2, it's going to be Mr. Nancy. He's just, but maybe that's
like
his
every once in a while thing. I
coming
guess
for a Dynamite speech, but I don't know. I would kind of like to see more and learn more about him.
Yeah. I wonder if it's, now that I'm trying to look this up, her name, I think it's spelled like Easter, but it's pronounced like Aster.
It's like the original.
Yeah,
spelling of Easter.
And then it got changed to like the Western Easter. Okay.
So Astera Easter, yeah.
The old part of the old gods. She was so good.
She was really good.
I love that, and now I love Mr. Wednesday even more.
Yeah.
He's awesome. How about him just pulling the sword out of his jacket? I love those little things. Like it's like because most of it, a lot of it, not a lot of it, a little bit of it is rooted in reality. Like everything's like. Physics are the same. You can drive a car, and you can now wear a seatbelt and get into a car accident like Laura Moon every episode. But then like there's other like those little things. It's like, oh, he pulls a giant sword out of his jacket, like it wasn't there a second ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like little subtle things.
They mix it really well.
Yeah.
The fiction and the reality.
It's kind of cool. Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. And so then last show is rooted all in reality.
Yes.
Sometimes a little too much in reality. Orange is the New
very
Black.
brutal reality.
Yeah. So what'd you think about this season of Orange is the New Black? Done over like 3 days? The whole season is over 3 days.
Going in, I didn't know how long they were gonna play out the riot for. I was kind of afraid they were only gonna do it for like a couple episodes and then move on to a different storyline.
Yeah.
I loved that the entire season was the whole riot.
They needed to give it that much.
They did, because they needed, and this was probably my favorite season.
Okay.
Just because of how well they mixed, like how brutal it was. I mean, it was like nerve-wracking watching some of these episodes, and they mixed in the humor. They really write the show so perfect.
Yeah.
For however many characters they have in the 20s, I mean, literally, like 15 to 20 characters that you care about.
Yeah.
And
that you know their names.
Yeah. And I mean, I just it was probably my favorite season. I think starting out with Daya, how last season ended with the gun, and I mean, you're rooting for her, but at the same time, they kept reminding you in the back of your mind. It's like, what do you think's gonna happen to these? Like, say, what's best case scenario? They have this riot. They shoot a guard. What's best case scenario? They all go to like
To
maximum
yeah.
Like, there's no silver lining here. They're not gonna like heroically run out. And I always had that in the back of my mind. So when you're watching and like there was some light moments or they got like these small victories, like it was just like wrecked me when what the hell's her name? Pusey's newest like romance.
God, I don't know her name.
But when she did the library in her honor.
Yeah.
I mean, Pusey was one of my favorite characters, and I'm glad that her death really drove this entire season.
Yeah.
I mean, for Tasty, and for what the heck's her name? It's not Maureen, is it?
No, the Asian girl.
Yeah.
No,
Maureen's the one that got beat up by Crazy Eyes.
Yes. And
Viciously.
her makeup the whole season.
Oh my god, it was tough to look at. Yeah. But I'm glad like Pusey's death really drove it because she was an awesome character. And then they had that flashback to when I need to know what her name is.
I'm looking up right now. Brooke. So-so.
So-so, yeah. So when Brooke and Pusey met, when Tasty and Pusey met, when they had that flashback, when Tasty first got in.
Yeah.
And she gave her the Alice in Wonderland book. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, that was tough.
Yeah.
Because Pusey was such a good character, and the way she died was unfortunate. The only storyline I wasn't a huge fan of was C.O. Bailey. Him kind of just
going back to her dad's house and apologizing. That scene, it was very powerful because it just it kind of shows you a different light to grief like that. Like he was just trying to make himself feel better.
Yes,
he wasn't trying to.
That
make
was a selfish move.
Yeah, it was a selfish move. So it's weird. It's like because in this society and like this day and age and everything, like everybody thinks saying you're sorry is like the right, or apologizing and admitting your fault is like the thing you should do. But you look at cases like this, like nothing that doesn't help anything in this case.
It didn't help him. And then I like that the dad said I hope you never find peace.
Yeah.
Like don't come to me trying to fix your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like you messed up. It's especially someone he was in the army, right?
Yes.
But, yeah. So it's like no, you accept.
Yeah, you accept your
mistakes
actions
and whatever it was, you have to accept it. Don't come to me looking for forgiveness.
Yep.
Now, for me, watching Freda throughout this entire season, I feel like that's you.
the Girl Scout.
You have the underground bunker, the pool. You have all the food.
I gotta tell you, I was very jealous of Freda.
Yeah,
I was very jealous.
I'm glad we got to see a decent backstory of her.
Yeah, I thought it was
she
so
saved
awesome.
the day multiple times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved the fact that she, even though she's kind of a hard ass, she's very inclusive when it comes to like the other women in the prison.
Yep.
She never really, unless you fuck with her, she really doesn't have a problem with you. Even when she was locked up with those girls, the three basically the Nazi sympathizer, the white supremacist girls. Even when she was locked up with them, she didn't have a problem with them. She was doing her own thing, trying to fix the situation.
Yep.
And she did. She did. I thought she was awesome, and I loved the scene, the episode. And I don't know what they all blend together now because I watched it binged it so hard. Whatever episode it was when there was absolute chaos upstairs, and she just grabs her stuff and she goes down to her bunker. She sits on her couch. She turn on a TV or something.
Yeah.
She puts on something and she starts having a beer or whatever that she had in her hand.
She had the Pabst Blue Ribbons.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. That was so cool. And then her flashbacks to her dad and stuff. Then you understand. Okay, this is why the way she is.
This is how she grew up. Her dad leaves her in the woods to get home. And has a bomb shelter.
Yeah.
But then again, they're living through the Red Scare. I mean, they're living through communism and what the Russians are doing. So it's a different lifestyle than...
At first, I thought her dad was going to be a real asshole. And I was like, that's going to be... But he was just kind of he genuinely wanted her to be prepared.
Yes.
For whatever came her way.
He really thought...
Because he didn't want to lose...
There was going to be nuclear war.
Yeah, because the wife had died or something. They alluded to the wife dying or whatever. But, it's sad. And, he was probably just doing the best he can, what he knew. And that was it. But she has a bunch of handy skills now.
She does.
And she has that whole bunker was amazing. That was so awesome.
I liked how they teased the arrow. So when she was in the kitchen with the two guards, she shot them and they thought they were thinking. But then when she hit Piscatella, it was actual.
Yeah, the actual.
What was it, Devil's Breath?
Yeah, something to knock him out.
Yeah.
That was
Which
fun.
I think for me this season, the most heartbreaking backstory was Piscatella's.
I totally agree with you.
I didn't expect him to explain his murder in his record, but
yeah. So the murder in his record was the guy that beat up the guy he liked.
Yeah,
he killed him in the shower.
That is a bad way to go.
Lindy was trying to argue with me. Lindy, if you're listening to this, I know you're probably not. You might be because I've been getting on you lately. But if you're listening to this, I I can't understand how you didn't realize that the guy died because he was dying. He was being burned alive by hot water.
And when read it, they said the guy had 80% burns across 80% of his body.
I was like, Linda, you can die from burns like that. Happens.
Oh yeah.
She's like, oh, I don't think it was that hot. Did you not see him like screaming in pain? Yeah, he died from the burns. Yeah, he absolutely did. Why did he have the guy's tag in his file?
Which one?
His boyfriend.
Oh, do you think that guy died?
I don't know. I don't think he died after they beat him up.
But he might have died eventually.
So you think we'll find out about that?
I don't think so, because he's dead.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any really more story to tell about that.
The only thing I can think of is once the other people who were beating and raping, the guy found out that their leader got killed in the shower. Yeah. They probably took it out on him. I mean, that could be a huge jump.
No, you're right. I mean, that's not crazy. That's not a crazy thought.
Not in prison. I mean, if they did that to him, they probably would have killed him if Piscatella didn't walk in.
I felt really bad for Piscatella at the end. I felt really bad for him, even though he
shouldn't have did what he did. But
yeah, I think the problem with him doing all that shitty shit last season, like I kind of forgot about it. Yeah. And then he wasn't in the first episode, right? Or wasn't in for the most of the first episode.
He wasn't in until like episode 8 or 9. Like,
really? Yeah.
I mean, he was in it, but he was just like talking to the cops outside.
Yeah. And like everybody was just busting his nuts about doing his table things, whatever, which is so funny. What a hobby to have.
Yeah, so it's like he's like an expert table setter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and then I did like how they foreshadowed a lot of things, like I said, with Frida in the, shooting the arrow.
Yep.
And then with the pepper bullets. And they said, like, don't shoot in the head, you shoot it up and it falls down. If you shoot him in the head, you kill them. Yeah. I did not expect Piscatella. I don't know why I didn't expect it, but when they shot and then Piscatella, you just hear him go, hey, and then boom.
Yeah. I didn't expect him to get it like that. No. It's unfortunate, but he's dead now. Poor other guard, the guy. Well, actually, not poor him. He was a real.
He was an asshole. He's the one who brought the gun in.
He was real fucked up to begin with. The guy, they put Maureen blew bubbles into his IV.
And then, but he was the one sitting in bed when they were in the hospital talking about he knew all these famous forms of torture. It's like something's wrong with that guy.
Something's wrong with him. Yeah.
But so now, what do you think's gonna happen? Because it ends with
I don't know
them blowing the doors off the bunker. They're all holding hands. They're staying strong. But like. I mean, the next season, it has to be like this season, right? The next season has to kick off with that scene.
Yeah, I don't think that any of those, I don't think they die.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because it's such a random assortment of people.
Yeah.
Like, they could kill off, like, Yoga Jones. Yeah. Or they could kill off, like, the, who's the Spanish one? Like the...
Oh, Gloria?
No, not Gloria. The other one. Like she's like the big one.
Oh, right. Yeah, the one who was looking through the files with the red.
Yeah. They could kill her off.
Yeah.
They could kill Frida.
I guess. They could kill Frida. I mean, they told her backstory
She's got
already.
The strap around her. Yeah. You know what I mean? Who knows? They don't know if she's holding.
Yeah. The only thing, though, I think that since they just killed Piscatella, I think they might be a little more cautious.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, but also they have a gun, don't they?
Yes.
They still have a gun.
They do.
So it depends if that gun comes into play or not.
Crazy Eyes? What if she grabs it?
Yeah, that's also true. I don't know. I think it's going to start. It's definitely. I mean, the way they've been doing these seasons, it's going to start right like that. But I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the girls. Like, what's going to happen with Litchfield?
Yeah, because, like, now Lauren is pregnant, and she's on her own, in a way.
Yeah.
I loved, what was it, Mariska? The two.
Oh, the one.
Oh, my God, they're awesome. Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah, that was sad.
Because, like, they were clearly, like, that was their thing, you know.
They helped them cope
they basically,
with prison.
they stayed sane because they were together.
Yeah. They were great this season. Well, do you think now we're going to have, like, a couple different prisons in play and, like, kind of, like, jumps back and forth between?
It might.
I think it has to. All those ladies can't be put back in the same place.
No, you're not going to put them in the same place.
You can't. That doesn't make any sense. Something unforeseen has to happen for that to happen. And I think Litchfield is going to be done for a while.
Yeah. Especially Anna was, like, on fire.
Yeah.
Like the two druggies.
I wouldn't be surprised if... Well, so now that adds an interesting thing, too. They burned all the files.
Yeah.
They burned all the inmate files.
Which I think is going to keep... what's her name? The one who's hooking up with Caputo. Like, she can't really prove she's not a prisoner.
That's very true. Wow. Yeah.
Because now, anytime she's around Boo, she's gonna be like, I work for MCC, and boo what she said. I work for MCC too. And
Yeah,
I'm like, shut up and make.
Yep.
So
wow, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah.
She's gonna be in prison. Her backstory was kind of fucked up too. With the sorority.
Oh my god.
And the girl getting frozen alive outside.
And they like referenced it in the later episodes too. It was like someone was, I forgot who it was. Someone was going to pee, and she's like, "Can you not like pee near me? I kind of have a history with those things."
Oh really? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't. Oh,
she like said Holly caught it. Yeah,
okay.
she just said it quick. It's like,
That's
well,
funny.
you actually your best friend.
That was a fucked up backstory.
That was a fucked up backstory.
And I felt bad for Suzanne too. Crazy Eyes. Felt really bad.
She's the heart of her and Tasty are the heart of the show. For
they're
me.
the two best actresses in the show, easily
Yeah.
by none. It was heartbreaking. The scene where she's zip tied to her bunk, and what's her name? Jefferson. What the hell's her name? Right, Jefferson. The one with the Mickey Mouse like hair.
Yeah.
Right? She comes over with the lithium, and at first like Suzanne's like she's not willing to take the pills, and then she realized she's like, will this make me good? Like that's heartbreaking. That's
the way
absolutely
like to
heartbreaking.
phrase it like that.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking because she knows she's struggling with her own inner demons, but she knows that she's making it like she's struggling, but she also has the state of mind to be like, this is making everybody uncomfortable. I have to be good so people don't feel uncomfortable around me.
Give me something and I'll try to help myself.
Yeah, and so but like she should have to like worry about herself, not worry about
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, her and Tasty for me are my two favorites, and just like Tasty was just wrecked by the end. I mean, she was just so spent emotionally.
Tasty did. I mean, I understand where she was coming from. She did kind of fuck up the whole thing.
She did by not accepting those.
She should have accepted the demands.
But at the same time, the guards were escaping.
Yeah.
Because is it Maria?
Well.
The one who actually took him out, who has a young baby with the dad with the tattoos all over his face.
Yeah.
So the guards were escaping either way. So what if she? But I don't know. So I like how they did that. So it's like even if she did accept, well, the guards going to be going out anyway.
Yeah. The other thing too with Gloria, how Gloria was upset she wasn't the one to let the guards out, but she was the one who put everything in motion to get them out of there.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is why couldn't she just have been like, look, the guards are out. I had something to do with this. Like I promised you the guards, they're out. Like she was very upset. Like she wasn't the one to do it. I understand that she's.
You mean like when she spoke to?
Yeah, right. I mean,
well, because I think like when Maria spoke to them, the governor's like helper or whatever, that woman didn't know what the hell she was talking about. So I don't think that would have helped Gloria at all.
Okay,
I don't think anybody, whoever she spoke to, I think it was the head of MCC.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be his word against hers.
Okay.
So he's gonna be like, I never said that.
Sure.
And then they're fucked.
Yeah. He needs a fucking asshole too.
Yeah, he is an asshole.
But
I liked it. I mean, they actually had some really interesting storylines outside of the prison, outside of flashbacks. Like they had, what's the character's name that kept going on air with Judy King?
Oh yeah, I don't know her name, but this the.
Speaking of Judy King, does she not remind you of Foghorn Leghorn?
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That accent?
Yeah.
Oh my god,
yeah,
it was so over the top.
That's really funny. Yeah, she does have it over the top. She was a bitch too.
She was.
Yeah.
I didn't like that she got out so unscathed.
Yeah,
but
so
I mean,
she got put up on the cross for a while. She got
like the camera, the helicopter taking pictures of her. That was awesome.
That was really funny. There was I liked the suspense between episodes 2 and 3. I think it was when the gun got taken from Daya.
Yeah.
Was that 2 and 3 or 1 and 2?
She got hit in the back of the head.
And you didn't know who took it. And at first you're like, well, I honestly at first I thought it was that guard that was hiding in the ceiling the entire time.
With the rapey one.
Yeah, the rapey one.
The rapist.
I thought it was him because I saw black boots, but then like when I started the third episode, or second episode, whatever it was, I realized that everybody wears black boots. So I was like, well, it could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
I mean, I don't think they would have put that out there.
Yeah, not a good hint.
It's
like, he's the only one.
It's like the show. It's like just the guards wear black boots and everybody else has white sneakers. Yeah, they really messed that one up.
Has like his name on the boot.
So I don't know. So now what's the deal with her now, Pennsatucky? She's out and about. She's just like at home watching TV with that guard.
Yeah.
Eating some M&Ms.
I don't trust the guard though.
I don't trust him at all. It's a weird relationship to be back in. It's a weird relationship, especially when he like was watching her from the ceiling. And,
and she doesn't have Boo now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Boo was her like
to protect her, like keep her like head straight with that.
This guy's done some pretty horrible things in the past. What's gonna stop him from?
Pretty fucked up shit. I don't know.
It's they really do just end seasons on the best. Like it's you can I don't know, like you don't know what to think about anybody.
No. Nope. So next year for the next season.
Yes.
Do you think there's going to be a season after it?
Could be. Yeah, Netflix is just taking over now.
Yeah.
You know?
It's one of the more successful Netflix shows.
It is. Well, I could
House
because
of Cards.
well, and we haven't even talked about Alex and
Piper.
I always want to say Taylor.
They
because that's
both
her real
directed
name,
episodes this season.
Which one did Piper direct?
I'm not sure.
Alex directed the torture one
Yes.
with Piscatella.
She actually
Talk about
directed
throwing her
it.
into the fire.
She directed most of the episode in that shower curtain outfit.
Wow.
Like the one she was like wrapped up in.
Yeah.
She directed the episode mostly in that, which is crazy.
And I know you told me that was the one she directed was your favorite. That was my favorite episode of the season.
It's so good, and it felt like a horror movie.
Yes.
It felt like and I was
the one before
actually
that
scared.
too.
Yeah. I was
like when he was
actually
stalking them.
Yeah.
And they always keep it they always keep it light. You know, they always keep it light, even though I mean it's really the most dire of circumstances. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd be interested which one Piper directed.
I'm gonna look it up.
I like
right
her a
now.
lot. She has a lot of really funny lines. She's way more effective when she's a secondary character.
Isn't it weird how this show started off? The whole first season was all about Piper, and since then it's been like really nothing about Piper.
She was
just like small things.
Such a background character, but every scene she's in, she's good.
Yeah.
But she's not the focus.
All right, let's see here. What is her real name?
Taylor Schilling, I think.
Oh, that's season 1. Taylor Schilling.
So now, if you had to participate in the
So yeah, Laura Prepon did that one.
in the
maybe she didn't direct one this season. Maybe I just read that because she has directed
one, yeah. Because I only saw that Laura Prepon
she didn't.
directed
Yeah,
one.
she just Laura Prepon is. I think she's the only cast member that directed one. But yeah, hers. That was my favorite episode of the season. Hers was called.
It was episode 10.
Yeah, where is it? The hell? Well, anyway, the Reverse Midas Touch. So it's a very long title.
It is. That's an interesting episode title.
Yeah. No. What's the other guard that Mr. Healy? No, Mr. Healy or his
Russian
Russian
bride.
mail order bride.
I feel like he might be done.
Yeah, maybe his. You know what's weird? And I thought he was gonna make a return this season. What's his name? The one-legged guard.
Yeah.
Is he gone for good?
I think so.
Right.
Because he's on an ABC show.
Okay.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
I think that's why they wrote him out.
Okay. So he's just gone.
Because I feel like they could have just told his story forever, like with him and Daya.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I like that little Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
mommy,
just a little
mommy,
bit.
Mommy, I want to talk to mommy. He's such a good actor.
Yeah.
He really is.
He's good. That's a really good impression of him.
Yeah,
that was
you.
good.
But yeah, I'm glad he was there a little bit. Yeah, I just it was probably but I think I say this about every season. It's because it's the freshest in my mind.
Yeah.
It was my favorite season. I would have to go back and
I agree
watch
with
them
you.
all to maybe really pick my favorite one. But it was, I mean, once it got going, like I couldn't stop watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this time last week I hadn't watched it.
Really? Did
Yeah,
you?
because
Yeah.
we were gonna do it on TV Club last week, but I didn't start.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean I watched it all in a week.
I watched it on a weekend, so I guess it's not that crazy.
No, and now we got Glow that premieres tomorrow.
I can't wait. And people that have already seen it, the reviews are great.
Oh, crazy! Yeah, they said it's awesome, and then we're only a couple weeks away.
Game of Thrones. That's when this is really. So for next week, what are we going to talk about?
We could
Are we
want to
gonna
do a couple
Glow?
episodes of Glow.
Okay, so I'm sure we're going to watch at least some
I'm definitely
of it,
gonna watch a
not the
couple.
whole, if not
Yeah,
the whole thing.
I'm working from home Saturday and Sunday,
Okay.
so I'm probably gonna watch a good amount.
So then let's plan on talking about Glow. Whatever we watch, whoever watched the most will, or the the least common denominator.
Right.
We'll talk about those episodes. So that'll be exciting. So Glow's on Netflix. If you want to follow us, you can follow us on Twitter at Average Nobodies. If you want to call in and leave a voicemail, you can do that as well. 401-285-8120. Is there anything else you want to chime in with? Well,
I think we're good.
yeah. Thanks
That
for
was a
listening.
blast.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Yeah, that was awesome. I'm so sad we have to wait another year to watch all these shows again, or at least another year.
How dare they all end at the same time?
Sons of bitch. Did you hear that Game of Thrones the final season is going to be in 2019? That makes me want to cry.
I don't accept.
That's like almost 2 years.
Yeah, because this season's gonna be over in like October.
Yeah.
It's going to be over before you know it. Once you get going, it's over.
So, anyway, you guys know where to find us. AverageNobodies.com, at AverageNobodies, 401-285-8120. Until next week, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for listening.
Have a great week, everybody.